Show me.
New casting and developments for the new Street Fighter film have been flying in fast and loose, and for the most part, well, they've got me quite scared. They've got me quite worried, and honestly, at this point, the confidence level is zero for this movie. And I hate to say that. There's nowhere near this movie's even being finished. It's not even started yet. You shouldn't make those kind of assumptions. You shouldn't judge a book by its cover unless, of course, it's a really, really bad cover. Or it's Mein Kampf. You should judge Mein Kampf by its cover. You kind of know what you're getting there. But the big details we've been getting for this movie so far is, of course, the cast. And this is what we have to look forward to so far. And all of this makes me feel is...
Wondering, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
Now, I should preface this by saying I'm not exactly a Street Fighter guy. I'm kind of more of a Tekken boy, 100%. You can always see in the background of my videos that I have that Kazuya and Heihachi statue that came out with the collector's edition of Tekken 7. So yeah, trust me, I am a Tekken boy, not a Street Fighter boy. But I do respect the franchise. I've been playing it since I was a little kid. I know what I want to see. I've been seeing a lot of good Street Fighter stuff over the years, especially Street Fighter Assassin's Fist. So look, my standards aren't exactly super high, but I know what I want to see. I mean, even without jumping into the cast, just look at who we have directing this movie. I don't really know much about this guy. It seems like he used to do a lot of cinematography on music videos. He directed a bunch of episodes of the Eric Andre Show, and now we're giving him Street Fighter. I don't know what that means, but I do have one question. You couldn't get Isaac Florentine? You couldn't get Jesse V. Johnson? You couldn't get David Leitch? Chad Stahelski even would do some fantastic stuff. You couldn't get, I don't know, what's his face? What am I thinking of? Kenji Tanigaki. You couldn't get Tanigaki. Tanigaki would kill some Street Fighter. Nobody thought to ask like Vlad Rimberg maybe, or even like a Sam Hargrave. Sam Hargrave would kill it. Let's go ahead and jump into the castings for this movie. Take a look at who we've got playing all the characters so far right now, what we have to look forward to, and who I wish was playing those roles. So let's go ahead and recast the Street Fighter movie. It seems when casting this movie, they took a bunch of notes from Borderlands and Minecraft and said, well, one of those made a bunch of money, so hey, we got a 50-50 shot at not f***ing this up. One of the first castings to come out of this movie was Blanca. Blanca, of course, a fan favorite character since, I don't know what, maybe Street Fighter 2. Was he in Street Fighter 2? Again, I'm a Tekken boy. But who we have playing Blanca so far is Jason Momoa. Now, initially I thought, oh, I kind of like this. Momoa is a lot of fun. He was a lot of fun in the last Fast and Furious movie. He gives what felt like a mostly earnest performance in Minecraft. But then again, what exactly is he going to be doing as Blanca? Is he going to have like a lot of dialogue? Is he gonna be cracking jokes? What's happening there? So let's go ahead and scrap this bit of casting here and change him out for Lateef Crowder. Lateef Crowder, of course, is not going to have a lot of dialogue in this. He doesn't talk much in things. You may recognize Lateef Crowder as the capoeira fighter in The Protector with Tony Jaa and Undisputed 3 against Scott Adkins, but he is also the stand-in in most of the scenes, I believe most of the scenes, for The Mandalorian, for Pedro Pascal. He is, for the most part, the Mandalorian we see on screen, so we really don't hear his voice much anyway. Just let the man fight. The man can throw down, paint him up green, dye his hair orange, and let him go to work. Plus, he is Brazilian, so I mean, why not? Why not give the Brazilian character to the Brazilian guy? I'm down for that. This next one is honestly the only one I'm actually cool with of this whole bit of casting we have so far, and that is Ryu. Ryu currently is going to be played by Andrew Koji, and yeah, that's pretty all right. That's pretty fine. Anybody who has seen the show Warrior knows that that's a solid choice. My only worry is that Andrew Koji has said in the past that he really does not want to be typecast as the martial arts guy, and yeah, I don't want that for him either if that's not what he wants. So hopefully this is not just typecasting. Hopefully this is something that he doesn't just, he's not obligated to do in his career. But just in case, if it is, who else would I recast? Well, I've got a pretty solid choice in my opinion. So let's go ahead and bring in the Dino Charge Blue Power Ranger. I'm wearing a lot of blue today, so it makes sense. I'm even wearing some blue shoes. No, let's go ahead and recast this with Yoshi Sudarso. Yoshi Sudarso is an incredible performer. He's a solid actor and an incredible martial artist. He's got the look, he's got the physique, he has the chops. If you haven't seen Power Rangers Dino Charge, trust me, I understand. You may also recognize him from a little bit of The Paper Tigers. You would recognize him from a bunch of short films on YouTube. A little bit of, he had a few moments, few scenes in The Brother's Son, which Netflix, of course, canceled after one season. Thank you, Netflix. And he was also young Hiroyuki Sanada in Bullet Train. What better breakout role for an excellent talent than Ryu? Next up, we've got the better half of Ryu, and that, of course, is Ken Masters. So far, playing Ken Masters, we have Noah Centineo. And look, nothing against Noah Centineo. I've only really seen him in the Black Adam movie with The Rock. He plays, I think, Atom Smasher, I believe. And look, he was not the problem with that movie. There was nothing wrong with him in that movie. I just don't look at him and say, yeah, that's Ken Masters. He's also looks like, I believe, several years younger than Andrew Koji. But in my world, in my universe, where we have Yoshi Sudarso as Ryu, let's go ahead and for a decent age range match, even though they are probably about 8 years difference. For Ken Masters, somebody who also has the skill, has the chops, both in the acting and the martial arts, and a similar age to Yoshi Sudarso, let's go ahead for Ken Masters, bring in Leo Howard. Leo Howard blew me away last year. Leo Howard, I saw him throw down in the movie Lockdown with Katie Lutz, underrated, underseen, low-budget martial arts film from last year. I thought he was fantastic. He comes from a Disney background, so he's got some acting chops, but he can fight, he can go, he's good. I would love to see him throwing out some shoryukens out there. I'm down for this. Leo Howard should be Ken Masters, and I am fully convinced of that. Let's stick with the good guys and talk about the strongest woman in the world, Chun Lee, currently being played by Kalina, I believe her name is pronounced, Kalina Leong. Nothing against her, I don't know her. From what I read online, mostly a teen drama actress who used to do TikTok, and from what some people told me online, apparently used to do some wushu, used to do some martial arts. She does, however, speak Mandarin, so I think that's probably a really good thing to have there. But I'm gonna recast it, dreamcast it anyway. And this one truly is the most fantasy casting you can get, because this is somebody who has already played Chun-Li, that many of us martial arts and straight up Power Ranger nerds have already seen play Chun-Li. And you know what? If you ask her out on the street, she'll probably tell you she's Chun-Li as well. And that, of course, is Gemma Nguyen. She played Chun-Li in some crossover Street Fighter Power Rangers short films that I believe it was Capcom approved Bat in the Sun do several years ago alongside Jason David Frank and Sierra Hanna, who was the yellow Megaforce Ranger. So we've already seen her be Chun-Li, and I like it. She's great. She's a fantastic martial artist. Can she act? I'm not sure. She is delightful. She's wonderful. I watched a lot of her stuff on YouTube. She's just a super nice person. I would love to see her return as Chun-Li, especially on the big screen. This next one is another one that has left me truly baffled as to what the hell kind of movie they're making. It is what really makes me think, okay, yeah, they're really going for some Minecraft, Borderlands bullshit. And that, of course, is Balrog, being played by 50 Cent. Now, yes, I'm sure 50 Cent has done some boxing in his past. Yes, 50 Cent is jacked and can definitely lift way more than me. That is not very hard, I'm sure. But really? 50 Cent. 50 Cent. Did you guys watch Expendables 4? Did anybody who made that decision watch Expendables 4? Yes, that's not maybe the best movie to cite for his career, but it is the last thing he's done, and I don't want to see it. So instead, I've got a few options. UFC heavyweight champion, former UFC heavyweight champion, depending on who you ask, Francis Ngannou. Does he want to act? Can he act? Probably not, but I'd like to see that. I'd like to see him as Balrog. The next one, another UFC fighter in Cyril Gane. Cyril Gane, former interim heavyweight champion in the UFC, also made a martial arts movie, an action movie this year, in KO on Netflix. It's not great, it's not very good, it's pretty bland, but you know what? He's got some fight scenes in it, and they're pretty exhilarating. The man's got some punching power. He looks like he has punching power, and you know what? He's got some screen presence. He's pretty freaking good. I would love to see him strap on the gloves and be Balrog in this movie. The next one, if we're going to stick with an actor, Winston Duke. I like him. I like Winston Duke. I liked him in Us. I liked him in all the Black Panther movies and the Avengers movies that he's in. Yeah, I like Winston Duke. He's a big, imposing dude. He'd make a good Balrog. The church I used to go to used to have a Street Fighter arcade cabinet, and instead of saying Balrog, it said Barlog. It was misspelled. Made me laugh, though. Let's talk about Vega. Let's talk about the Spanish ninja, the man with the mask and the claws and long blonde hair. Who do we have playing Vega? A country singer named Orville Peck, a man I'm not going to lie, I've never ever heard of. I also don't really listen to country music post 2010, so no idea what's going on over there. But from my understanding, yes, he has an acting background, some theater, dance. I'm sure that's cool, that's fun. I don't mind someone who can dance. Playing a martial artist, that's always cool, that's always nice. But if you're just going to cast a guy because he wears a mask, if you're going to cast a guy because his whole gimmick is that he wears a mask, well, that's a pretty low bar to have. What? You couldn't get Corey Taylor? You couldn't get Johnny Three Tears? You couldn't get Charlie Sheen? You couldn't get, I don't know, Eyes Wide Shut? You couldn't get The Court of Owls? You couldn't get Axiom? You couldn't get Rey Mysterio? You couldn't get Rey Phoenix? What? You just gonna cast anybody with a mask to play the guy who wears a mask? That's some pretty lazy shit. It's really boring. It's really dumb. But I had a pretty good idea. I think I had a pretty good idea, at least. No, get rid of the country singer. I'm going this way. Get rid of the country singer. Get rid of him. Get him out. Get him gone. No, I don't want that. Maybe I'm being mean. I don't know, but that's fucking stupid. Marco Zodor. Marco Zodor's on a good roll. Marco Zodor's on a tear. He was in Fight or Flight. He was in Diablo just recently. He was in John Wick Chapter 4. He's doing some good stuff right now. The man is on a roll. Give him Vega. He speaks Spanish, for Christ's sake. Yes, it's a different dialect of Spanish. Yes, Vega is legit a Spaniard, and Marco Zodor is from Chile. But look, that didn't stop, what's his freaking name? The dude who played Zorro. Antonio Banderas. Jesus fucking Christ. Whatever the hell happened just there. Just totally blanked on that guy's name. Yeah, no, he's a legit Spaniard Spanish man, and he played a Mexican hero. So I think that Marco Zodor is fully fit to go ahead, put the mask on, put a wig on, and throw down some sick-ass fight scenes as Vega. Tell me you wouldn't watch that. Tell me you wouldn't watch it. Tell me you wouldn't watch that shit. Tell me you wouldn't watch it. Something I saw online actually just a few minutes ago, I popped on IMDb to take a look at some names here, and I saw one that I don't believe has been confirmed yet. But for M. Bison, I saw David Dastmalchian. I love that guy. He is fantastic. He is a wonderful actor. He is charismatic as hell. He is, I'll go ahead and say the word, brilliant. I love David Dastmalchian. I have zero desire to see him play M. Bison. Of course, he's wonderful. I'm sure he would put an incredible spin on it that would be really fun to see. But right now, that's not what I want. So let's get David Dastmalchian out of there for M. Bison, and I'm going to throw out two possible suggestions. Number one, Scott Adkins. That's right. I don't have Scott Adkins as playing a good guy. I got Scott Adkins playing the villain. He plays a fantastic villain, and Scott Adkins is M. Bison. Put that suit on him. He's all imposing. The man can throw down. That would be dope as hell. However, I have a second option here. The other option might be scarier because he's bigger. And that is Reacher himself, Alan Ritchson. I don't remember how to pronounce his last name, but tell me you wouldn't see that big boy, big large man, huge son of a bitch as M. Bison. That would be threatening. That's good. I like that. On a similar note, let's go into a character that I don't believe has been cast for this movie so far at all, and that is Guile, the American hero with the big blonde hair. Because again, I've got two options for that as well. And that is Alan Ritchson or Scott Adkins. First of all, Scott Adkins can throw a flash kick. The man's done it. We've seen him do it in Universal Soldier Day of Reckoning. Granted, that was more than 10 years ago, so who knows at this point if he can still do that. I believe he can. He's a great, talented guy. but Scott Adkins would make a fantastic Guile, and so would Alan Ritchson, because he's massive and big American guy. That's pretty much it. That's the whole reason why. And if one plays the other, then the other will play the other, vice versa. If Alan is Guile, then Scott is Bison. If Scott is Guile, then Alan is Bison. I like it. It's what I want. Do it. Let's jump into the name that is the one who broke the camel's back for me, the one that truly made me decide that I have zero desire to see whatever the hell they are making, the one that has me just at a loss for words, that makes me believe that this movie is going to be absolutely terrible. Dan is not a super serious character. Dan was meant to be a parody of what they believe to be a ripoff character. So he's a parody of a joke, essentially. He's an overconfident douche who's not as good as he thinks he is, which is what the word overconfident means. And for that, they brought in comedian and all-around douchebag Andrew Schultz. What are you making? What kind of movie is this supposed to be? Again, this is truly some Borderlands ass shit. Let's jump into who I think should take over Dan. Kenny Omega. That's right. The cleaner. The best bout machine. Kenny freaking Omega. The man, first of all, I think kind of looks like Dan. I think put a different wig. He's already played like 12 different Street Fighter characters in Street Fighter commercials over in Japan. So yeah, he's kind of already in the world in some way. But just put a good looking wig on him. He's kind of already got the hairline for it. He's a big, large, muscly dude. He can play douchey. He can play a joke. We've seen him on Being the Elite for years, every single weekend, just being an all-around goofball. So we know he's funny. He looks the part. He can play the part. He's got the physicality. Let him be Dan. Kenny Omega. This is honestly the one thing that I'm like, yeah, that freaking rules. I mean, I've said that for several things, but like if the whole cast of this was ass, and they were like, oh, by the way, for Dan, we got Kenny Omega, I'd be like, oh shit, I guess I gotta go see it. Now, I don't want this movie to be too bloated and overcrowded with characters. However, I do have, I believe, about 4 more names here. Some of them feel quite essential, and some of them just because I think they could be pretty fun with who I have cast in those roles. One of them is Cammy. Cammy feels completely essential here. Cammy I have being played by Katie Lutz, reuniting with Leo Howard from Lockdown. I just think Katie Lutz could do some fun stuff. I liked her a lot in, of course, the Arrowverse, Legends of Tomorrow and Arrow. She was one of my favorite characters in Legends of Tomorrow, which was at one point one of my favorite shows. She's great. She's fun. She's good. I think she could do it. Zangief. Zangief, of course, the guy who is a bad guy, but sometimes bad guy does not mean that the word bad guy. Zangief, the large Russian pro wrestler. I have 2 names again for this one. One of them seems pretty obvious. He at one point played a large Russian wrestler on TV, and that is Oleg Prudius, or as many WWE fans at one point knew him as Vladimir Kozlov. Now, if you look at Vladimir Kozlov and when he was in WWE, you would say, really, that guy as Zangief? But when you look at Vladimir Kozlov, or his real name, Oleg Prudius, now, the man looks like a total gangster. Give the man a mohawk and call it a day. That's Zangief right there. But, of course, if you want the size, because in the Street Fighter games, he is a massive human being, well, who else better to go with than Eddie Hall? Just look at him. Look at Eddie Hall. Again, make sure he has a mohawk. Give the man a beard. Let him get some cut 6-pack abs like he's had before. That's Zangief. 110% that's Zangief. Now I've got 2 characters left here. One has actually been cast for this movie. The other has not even been mentioned as a character to be in the movie. But I can't help but talk about him because I have 2 castings that I think could be quite fun for that role. So the first one, the one that is completely unnecessary and uncast because he's not probably even in the movie, is DJ. I don't know a lot about DJ. Again, I'm a Tekken boy. But when I look at DJ, I think I've got 2 names that could be pretty fun in that role. And one of them is the excellent, the epic, the awesome Aaron Toney. He's Black Panther. He's Falcon. He's any black superhero that has ever needed a stunt double. He has some fantastic short films on YouTube. Head over to his YouTube channel. He does great stuff. I would love to see Aaron Toney in this movie, so why not go ahead and give him DJ? But of course, if you want to give an actor this role, somebody who can go ahead and do some fun acting while maybe also being able to do some great physicality, well, another great name would be Mustafa Shakir. We've seen him in Luke Cage, where he was Bushmaster, I believe his name was, in season 2 of Luke Cage. And then he was also just in Love Hurts with Ke Huy Quan, where he was pretty fun. So I'd like to see DJ in this movie, and I'd like to see one of those two people, preferably Aaron Toney. The last role in this movie that has again already been cast, and I've got somebody else for it, that is Akuma. Legendary character in the Street Fighter franchise, somebody who has also branched over into the Tekken universe in Tekken 7, where he did nothing but piss me off that entire story mode. I hated fighting him every single time, but in the end, I kicked his ass. For Akuma, they have cast Roman Reigns, our tribal chief, ones in the air. Roman Reigns. Acknowledged him. Respect him. I get it. Do I want him as Akuma? Here's the thing. I don't know. I don't know if I have a better choice for this. This was weird. I'm not sure. Because look, do you get a Japanese guy? Do you get someone who's actually Japanese? Because Akuma's whole thing is just that he comes from the same training dojo, the same school as Ken and Ryu. He just took a bad path. He studied the Dark Hado, and that corrupted him, and he became the demon that is Akuma. So I can't think of like a large Japanese man. Not one does not come to mind. So like he kind of fits. He is a large man. I saw somebody online saying, well, you know, at least his skin tone matches. And I'm like, yeah, but Akuma is not darker skinned because of like natural skin tone. He's that way because he's just like so immersed in the Dark Hado that it has like corrupted his body. He is like half demon at this point. That's the whole reason he looks the way he does. Ryu looks like that whenever he does too much Dark Hado stuff, and he turns into Dark Hado Ryu. He looks the exact same. So, but again, he's so big and massive, but I don't trust him to do a fight. I mean, yes, he's a WWE wrestler. Yes, he's going to do amazing choreography. He's going to be able to do all the things you need him to do without much instruction. But I don't want him to throw a whirlwind kick, you know? You know what I mean? Am I making sense here? Like, he's great for it visually, and I can't think of anybody else visually who would work that well. But once you actually get into the fight scene, like, what's his face gonna look like? That's gonna look kind of weird, right? And he's gonna have big red hair if they want to do that right, which I think they should. I guess it would kind of look like in Street Fighter Assassin's Fist, where what's his name, Joey Ansa, who like wrote and directed that whole series, just went ahead and played Akuma himself, but it worked because he's also a brilliant martial artist. So like, I guess it'll just look like that. I don't know. I think this is like the only one that I'm like, or the second one that I'm like, yeah, go for it. This is fine, I think. Because I don't know if I have another answer for this. So that is my dream casting, my fantasy recast for the Street Fighter movie, which should be released at some point in the next 3 to 7 years. I hate 99.9% of this casting. Nothing I can do about it, nothing you can do about it, nothing any of us can do about it, unless we just want to bully them like we did for the Sonic movie. I didn't do that. Other people did. It was terrible, though, so it's good they did that. But this is what we're going to get. I am anticipation to see some kind of trailer one day. Maybe it'll look dope. At the end of the day, all I want is good fight scenes. All I want is legit, awesome fights. That's what Street Fighter franchise is. There's a reason that the Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, is so much better than the Street Fighter movie, and it's not because it's funnier, it's not because of, well, it is because the characters are better, that's not true. But the fights are just so fun to watch. You go watching Ryu throw a 2D animated Hadoken is way better than just seeing Ryu do this and a flash go across the screen. I just want good fights. And I don't believe 85-90% of the cast that they have for this movie so far is capable of that, even with training. Andrew Schultz, get the fuck out of there. I don't even expect Dan to put on a good fight, so like, what the fuck is that even? But tell me what you thought of my casting here for the new upcoming Street Fighter movie. Who do you think should direct it? Who do you think should play all these characters? And what do you think of the existing casting so far? Again, here it is. It looks atrocious. Let me know all those things in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Head over to Facebook, where there is the Martial Arts Film Freak Facebook page, Instagram, Martial Arts Film Freak, Tristan_Glover on the Blue Sky, Martial Arts Film Freak on TikTok. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.